All right. I think we are officially live here on this Friday morning, and it is August 13th, which is crazy that we're almost through August. Just absolutely bonkers. Okay, so today what we're going to be talking about is the one-page niche properties blueprint. It's something that I sketched up randomly because I had gotten some emails from people that made me realize that people are thinking it's complicated or they're overthinking it. So I said, you know what? I need to put together a little piece of paper that can map out the components that it takes. Now, are there other components inside of this? Absolutely. There always are. And the upfront work is going to be more than it will be in the future, but that's just how it goes. But what I want to do is I want to share that little sketch with you, and then we'll talk through it. So this way here, if you have any questions, you can let me know. But this is going to be our jam session. I am going to be here for about 15, maybe 20 minutes tops because, well, we're heading out again, getting ready to pack up the car and head on out to another beach volleyball tournament weekend. And we will be, you can say good morning. It sounds and looks good. Can see top of your laptop though. Oh, right here. How's that? Look at that. Got rid of it for you. Yeah. So, okay. So that's what we're going to be talking about here today is the one-page little blueprint here that I mapped out. And yes, I got sidetracked there. I'm going to be heading out to another beach volleyball weekend. So let's just kick this thing off. Make sure that everything is good. I already got a sounds good, so I think we're good to go. And then we'll be sharing the one-page blueprint. So guys, if you have any questions though for me for today, let me know. Drop them in the comments so that way there. Terry says, every time I catch your show, you're getting ready to pack up the car and leave again. I am. It's like every weekend. Last weekend was the first weekend that we didn't have a tournament, and it felt kind of nice. But also we like going on the weekends, especially when it's short-lived, because it's not a full season that you're going to be doing this all the way through in February and January and stuff. Although we probably could find a tournament in Puerto Rico or something. But yes, Terry, I am. I'm always going in and getting the car packed up. So that's what we'll be doing. As soon as I get off here, we'll be buttoning that up. So, but thanks for stopping by. All right, cool. So let's do this. As you guys know, right now we are in the middle of a open for enrollment for our niche properties class that we have coming up on August 19th. That's next Thursday. And really excited. The response has been great. A lot of people are excited about it. But if you're interested in joining us and you have not yet enrolled, you still have time. We are going to be closing the enrollment. And you can go to brandcreators.com/niche and you can get the information there. There's a little page up there that gives you more details and also will allow you to enroll in this class this time around. And also just to note, this will be the lowest that will make enrollment. This is our open. We always do it on our first time open. And we're also going to be adding some additional resources to this one. So it's different than just a typical workshop. It's actually more like a class. And then also we're going to have more stuff that we're going to be adding after the class on August 19th, because we know that there's going to be more things that the class is going to need, and we will create those as we get that feedback. So that's another thing about being like one of the beta students, if you will. So if you're interested, head on over to brandcreators.com/niche and you can get the information on over there. All right, cool. So let's do this. Let's officially kick this thing off. I'm going to go ahead and, well, I won't add that yet. Let's just go ahead and let's get this thing going. All right, here we go. All right, guys, welcome back to another Friday jam session. Today, I'm excited because, well, if you've been listening to the podcast or to these coffee talks or just hearing me talk about it anywhere online these days, I'm pretty excited about this thing we're calling niche properties. This is where we build this digital real estate and we get to collect the rent. Basically, what we're doing is we're creating these little digital products or digital products, these digital properties that will basically generate recurring revenue from two different sources. One of them being an ad network. The second one is through recommending or doing best type of products for X. And we're just doing review type style posts. That's what these are designed for. And our target is always to get them to $1,000 net per month, just like a piece of rental property. I actually talked about this recently on how rental property is actually harder and it requires more. And right now the market is so darn expensive, it's hard to even get started. But it's a lot easier to get started in the digital real estate game. And that's what we are doing right now. So we have a new class that we're teaching, and you can find that at brandcreators.com/niche. But today what I wanted to do is I wanted this jam session to be about any questions that we might have regarding something that I published yesterday or the day before. I think it was the day before yesterday. And that was what I'm calling my one-page niche properties blueprint. And what I did was I sketched it out. And if you're listening to this, you won't be able to see it, but I will give you the components. If you want to see the diagram or you want to see my little chicken scratch, you can head on over to the show notes to this episode. All right. But if you have any questions and you're watching this and you are here live, because this is being filmed live, go ahead and drop them in the comments and we'll turn that into this Friday jam session. And anyone that couldn't make it can still hear the questions. And if you want to be at one of these, head on over to takeactioncrew.com. All right. All right. So cool. Let's just dig in here. So I'm sharing a picture right now, a very, very nice picture of something that I drew. Took me about 5 minutes to draw, and it isn't really a drawing. It's like boxes and a circle and some arrows. But at the very, very top, it says niche property. And that's really what we're doing, right? So we're building this property, and I want you to imagine that you have this property now that can potentially earn you money. And you might say, well, Scott, how does that happen? Well, what we need to do, there's two components. We need traffic. Okay, well, we need the niche, right? We need to figure out the niche, but then we need traffic coming from that niche to our property, our website, and a very simple website, by the way. And then from there, once we have the traffic, we're going to turn on an ad network, Ezoic, Mediavine, or AdThrive, and they will pay us for visitors seeing those ads. Like that's number one. Number two is I had four fingers up. Number two is the second way that we're going to monetize is through posts that are talking about 5 best fishing lures 2021. Best bass fishing lures for ponds, for night, things like that. And then those will bring people over that are searching for products. They come over, they could buy a product, but also they count as a page view, which then we would get paid for. So those are the two simple ways that we're monetizing these properties. Okay. So what does it consist of to do this? Well, and I have this in my first little box, keyword research. Okay. So after we figure out the niche, okay, once we figure out the niche and we validate that there's enough traffic there and we validate that there's other sites that have already created a website. I know people say, well, Scott, why would you do it if someone's already done it? Because there's enough out there for all of us. All right. So find the niche. There's plenty of them out there. I have more than I can actually build at this time. So find the niche. From there, validate the traffic, validate that it's being monetized, and then go to work doing keyword research. Okay. So the first box here in my little diagram in this blueprint is keyword research. And then inside of the keyword research, we're going to focus on questions and products. Now, recently, Google did a little bit of an update or a algorithm change, or some people call it a Google slap. But what they did was they started looking at review type sites. So sites that were just built that all they did was they reviewed products. That's it. They didn't want that to be the main focus of a site. So they penalized them in a sense to where they reduced the amount of reach, the amount of traffic. But how you can do this differently now is make it more about questions being answered and then sprinkle in products. So I would like to have it probably a 70-30 blend. Okay. So 70% would be content that's answering questions, that's more how to, and then there'd be 30% products. You can't get hurt if you're doing it that way. Now, if we did it the other way where it was like 100% products, that's bad. Or maybe it was 80% products and 20% content, that still could probably get you penalized. We don't know what that measurement is, but I would say at least it wants to be 50-50, but I would lean on the other side because a lot of times people are building these niche properties to basically just sell affiliate products. That's all they're doing it for. I'm doing it to get traffic so I can turn on an ad network and create a passive revenue stream just from the traffic, not even buying something. All right. So again, the first part in this, once we get it set up, right, we get this thing built, it's keyword research. And that's questions and products. Okay. Then from there, you need to write the articles. Now you can either do this yourself, okay, or you can hire someone to do it. All right. I have written articles, but I don't enjoy it. And I actually want this to scale, meaning I want to invest in a writer that will publish content and really build my property, right? So if you think about this like a piece of rental property, I just did this actually. I'm going to be shooting a video for it, but basically the breakdown of a rental property. If you have a rental property and you pay $250,000 for that rental property, you got to put 20% down. So let's just call that $50,000. You've got to get a mortgage now for $200,000, right? And pay closing fees and all that stuff, right? So let's just say $200,000. You got $50,000 upfront cost that you got to come up with. And then from there, you got to probably put, I don't know, 5 or 10 grand into it to get it rentable, get it ready. Okay. So now we got 60 grand in for startup. And now let's do the math. And I already did the math. So it's like $830 at a 30-year mortgage on $200,000 if you got a rate of like 3.5%, which is pretty low for rental property, even though the rates are so low right now. But let's just call it that. So it's like $880. And then you got taxes on top of that, $4,000 a year, probably on a $250,000 house, depending on where you live, could be more, right? But that's like, I don't know, what was that per year? I think I came up with like 300 or $400, right? And all in with your water bill, maybe you have a water bill for $100 a month. You got to pay for all this stuff. Your renter's insurance or homeowner's insurance on the property. You got to have all that. All in, I did the math. You're like $1,400. Okay. You're probably only going to get about $1,700 for that property, depending on where you live, depending on how well you did your research. So that you're going to net maybe $350, $400. Okay. For that property, you've invested 60 grand. You've got a mortgage, you got all the responsibilities. Now we're hoping in 5 years that property, it goes up in value. The typical and the standard is usually 3.5 to 4% per year. Let's round it up. And let's just say every year it goes up by $10,000. In 5 years, you'd be up $50,000. You pay your mortgage down. All right. You pay that mortgage down a little bit. Let's say it's down to 180 now. And then from there, you sell the house maybe for $300,000. Now you got to pay back yourself the 60 grand, which you didn't make any money on because it was in the house, right? You collected $300 to $400 a year, which is, let's just call it $4 grand a year, right? Times 5 years. You collected 20 grand in rent. And that's if the furnace doesn't go. That's if the roof doesn't go. Okay. So all in 5 years, the property might go up 50 grand, right? And you might have taken in 20 grand. So that's 70 grand in 5 years that you would have made from that property. Okay. And you had to do all of that stuff. Well, with this right here, all we need to do is get the proper, or, get the niche, find the land, right? Do the keyword research and publish. And the reason why I'm going on this little bit of a rant here is because when you're building this, it's not a bad thing to invest in writers to publish content for you. Even if you dropped $5,000 or $10,000. Now, I'm not saying you're going to do that, but that's what I'm willing to do. Because I know that if I get this property up and running in 12 to 24 months, that it's netting $1,000. Even if I spent $10,000, in 10 months, that property's paid off. And that's recurring revenue. And I can sell that property for 3 to 4x of what it's making monthly or yearly, right? Just so much. It makes just way more sense. Okay. So writing the articles, the reason why I went there on that section here is writing the articles is a big part of this. Because what we want to do now is we want to, after we publish and optimize the content, so that's like the next part here. We have writing articles. And then from there, we have another box where we're publishing and optimizing. And then we're just repeating. That's all that we're doing. So most of the time is spent in keyword research. And then from there, writing the articles and publishing and optimizing doesn't take long at all. All right. So it's really just the research and the writing. That's it. And if you just do that and create a little machine in a sense, or a crew, as I call it, a little construction crew that can help with that, you can scale it a lot quicker. And then instead of waiting 5 years, and hope that the house doesn't, you lose a tenant and you got to find a new one, or maybe you're even spending on a management company, which I didn't even figure that in. Okay. So you can see how this one here, to me, for me personally, it seems like just a way better, model. So niche property, the way that it works is this: we build one. Okay. You can build multiple ones, but if you want to do this as a side gig, or maybe you want to do this was the other thing that I was thinking. Think about this. Let's say you did this and it took you 2 years to get it up to $1,000 a month, which I think it could be sooner, but let's just say $1,000 a month. It took you 2 years. Let's say you have a kid that's going to be going to college in 4 years. So you build this thing. Okay. Let's say that you invested 10 grand into this thing. Okay. And then let's say in 2 years, it's netting $1,000, but going up through the ranks there too, you're going to be making $400 and then $500. So it'll slowly get to the 1,000. So you're not like making zero. Okay. But then after the 4 years, you can take that property and sell it. And if it's making $1,000 per month, low end would be 36K that you could cash out. High end would be like 48. Okay. If you got it to $2,000, you can double that number. Depending on what college your kid goes to, it could pay for their college, or at least put a good dent in it. Okay. So this could be done as a side hustle. It could be done as something you bolt on to one of your businesses to drive more traffic and then add another revenue stream. So many options here that we're able to do using this model. So again, keyword research, and I usually look at questions and product posts, and I would go 70-30, write articles, publish, optimize the website, and repeat. That is it. That's the model. And a lot of this can be offloaded, which is really, really exciting, meaning you can have someone else do the work for you. So right now, I have 2 that have been working now for just about 2 years. I have a 3rd one that we just started building out. A 4th one that we had started a year ago. We let it sit. And the reason why we let it sit is because we just used it as a demo to show how to set stuff up to some of our BCA students. And now we're like, oh, after a year, we're like, we should probably start that thing up and start building that thing out. So we're going to start doing that. So 4 of them are going to be being built as we speak. 2 of them are a little further along. Okay. And regardless if I was teaching this, I'm doing this because it's online digital real estate. I just went through why it's so powerful. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Looks like there's no audio now. That's fun. Let's see. Testing 1, 2. Huh. It says I got audio. Hopefully I got audio. I have audio. Someone says they don't have audio. Okay. We do have audio. But someone else fine here. Okay, cool. Good. I'm not going crazy. So, okay. Do we have any questions on this for our jam session? Because this is what I want to talk about here today. And I also want to answer any questions that you guys have. So let's just, let's see here. Okay. Good question. Does the writer SEO optimize the blog for you, or do you do it yourself? They can. Okay. And I have a company now that we're testing, and it actually works out really, really nice because what they're doing is they are uploading in and putting it in a draft on our WordPress site. Okay. Which we weren't having that done before. Before it was the writer would write it. Then my VA would pick it up, put it on the website. They'd have to go through Grammarly. They'd have to do all of those things. And then they would optimize it and then publish. But now we have another company we're working through, and I'm not announcing them yet because I'm still testing them. I will be sharing it in the niche properties workshop though. And so basically what we're doing there is they're uploading it, putting it in draft, or even adding their own royalty-free images. They're doing all the tagging. They're doing all of that stuff. It's very affordable too. And so the only thing we need to do is I need someone to basically double check that everything is optimized to our standards and then hit publish. And one of those VAs is my father, and the other VA is my son. So I'm teaching him how to do this right now, which he's already been doing. He's done probably 5 of them and they've been great. So it's not hard to do and it's not hard to teach if you needed someone else to do it. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay. Hi, Scott. Do you have any website examples that I can check out? Well, yeah, I shared one here the other day. And if you go to, I'll give you one to check out. I think it's bestwalkingfeet.com. Bestwalkingfeet.com. That site is being sold right now at Motion Invest for $41,000. And that site is generating anywhere from $1,500 to just over $2,000 per month. Okay. The downside of that, now that'll show you a model of like there's ads running on the site. They are very heavy on product reviews stuff. So the first bit of action would be to put a whole bunch of content that's more question based to then offset that it has so many product based posts. But yes, that's a good one to check out. I will be also doing more here. Like next week, I'll probably share another example, and I am sharing more like pre-class content in the niche properties class area. Like right now, we have I think 2 videos in there right now. So yes, but that's an example you can check out. It's public. It's on Motion Invest, so you can go check it out. Just go to bestwalkingfeet.com, and yeah, they're like I said, they're earning a good amount there. It's following this to a T. When is it realistic goal to earn your first dollar? I mean, honestly, now that Ezoic allows you to put ads on almost immediately, I would say, I mean, it could be as soon as 3 months, but I would say I would probably wait to turn on ads until I hit about 300 page views a day is what I would do. And I think realistically, depending on how much content you publish, you could get there in 3 to 6 months. Will you be teaching us how to optimize posts in the work? Yes, absolutely will. 100%. All right. Any other last questions? Liz says, using my cell phone now, I have audio. Awesome. All right, cool. If you guys have any last minute questions, I do have to run. If you guys are listening to the podcast and you wanted to check out this workshop and go through it, and I keep calling it a workshop, it's actually more like a class, because we're going to do the workshop where we're going to walk you through all of the components. We're going to do, every single section, but there's going to be more training that will go deeper into these areas. All right. And as we build out this class, it will get more robust, meaning whatever we are getting feedback from, we will be adding in content to make sure that we answer all of those questions. All right. So if you're interested in joining that class, head on over to brandcreators.com/niche, and you can get all the details there. All right, guys. So that's it. That's going to wrap it up. As always, take care, take action, have an awesome, amazing day, weekend, whatever time it is. And I'll see you right back here on the podcast, or if you're listening to this or watching this, I'll see you on the next live. Take care, guys.